morning. It's Chef Ben Thorpe here at Camp Glorietta. We're going to do our weekly recipe build today. For those of you that received our food share baskets, we're just kind of celebrating vegetables this week, kind of coming back off of some pretty heavy dishes with the pastas we did last week. This morning, I'm pre-filming this, so you guys will have it ready this evening when you're making dinner. We are doing a dish that most of you that have kids are familiar with called Ratatouille. This version of it is called Confit Biyaldi. The term confit just is referring to something being slow cooked, typically in fat. In this case, it'll be cooked in a tomato stock, roasted pepper stock called piperade, which I included in your basket. So I'm just going to explain my ingredients real quick and then assemble. This dish is mostly on the prep side, and then in assembly, you stick it in the oven and basically forget it for an hour and a half, and you'll have a fantastic, very, very savory, very rich flavored vegetable dish. So what we're going to start off with today is the piperade, which is it's a tomato sauce with roasted bell peppers, onions, garlic, shallot, and bell pepper. So there's red and green bell pepper in here, tomatoes, onions, and like I said, the herbs. We have a little bit of rosemary and parsley as well. So we're going to start off with this at the bottom of the pan. Right here, 16 ounces of the piperade. And this is a sort of a medium-sized casserole, about the same size as a typical cake pan. You can use this. You can also do it in a circular pan if you have something like that. That's certainly a lot of fun. Typically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this with the piperade. We're going to add a little bit of fresh garlic to the bottom of the pan. We're also going to finish the dish with garlic. And I'm also going to add, at this point, a little bit of this blend that I put in your boxes as well. This is just dried thyme, smoked paprika, and a little bit of black pepper. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this to the bottom of the pan so that the flavor permeates throughout. And then from there, we're going to take these vegetables that I've sliced. You in your boxes have two types of fresh zucchini squash. You have yellow crooknecks and classic green zucchini. You have tomatoes. You have eggplant. And you also have some onions. You can choose whether to use the onions or not. I like them just for the color, to have a little purple in there. I didn't have a yellow zucchini on this side, so I'm just doing it with these four colors here. And this is going to be a really fun dish to include your kids in making, because it's just you can't screw it up. Just a lot of assembly in this cart. So I've got eggplant here in French aubergine. We've got onions. We've got sliced tomatoes. They're a little bit green. If you have green tomatoes or something that's not fully ripe, a dish like this is fantastic for bringing out its flavor through a slow cooking process. So what we're going to do right now is just going to start layering the pan. Now, I typically, in a square pan like or a rectangular pan like this, I'll start in the corner, and you're just going to shingle the vegetables, okay? In this case, I'm going to use 2 zucchini squash since they're not as big, right? I'm just going to keep shingling like this. And you're just going to keep going around the edge of the pan. So we're just going to start assembling here. And you want just a little bit of each color sticking out as you shingle it. So obviously there's eggplants are a little bit larger. This is a really great one to do with Japanese eggplant, which are just not available right now in the market because of some of the issues and restrictions we're facing with the lockdown. So and then you're just going to spend some time assembling. So this is an excellent time to have a glass of wine, so if you're into such things. So enjoy yourself. And then just try to get it as even as possible. Obviously vegetables are all different sizes. Here we're going to kind of start skirting around the corner like this. Straighten those out a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to keep assembling. It's a pretty simple dish. Most of the classic French dishes like cassoulet or boeuf bourguignon or ratatouille are simple dishes. Most of these dishes originate in Provence, in the countryside, in the farm communities, as a way to create hearty dishes from what they had on hand based on the season. So this time of year, in the spring or in the summer, they might have vegetables, and so you'll get something like this. In the winter, when there's not as many things available in the larder, you'll get things like cassoulet with preserved meats and slow-baked beans, and a lot of fantastic things there. So now, depending on the size of your pan, you may need to use more veg than I'm using right here. And you just want to keep going until you've got a nice layered pan. You can certainly do more than one layer if you want to have a nice, real deep dish. And coming to a corner again here. Now the eggplant, if you're going to pre-slice this any amount of time prior to actually cooking and preparing the dish, you want to make sure that you either salt it or keep it pressed underneath some parchment paper with a weight, and this is going to help it not turn brown. And so we're going to kind of turn again here in the center, and we're just going to slide into the middle here. Now, for this corner here, I'm just going to slide the eggplant down underneath, okay? And I'm going to just go ahead and create a little fin here with these extra vegetables. Do another layer. What do you think? Probably. All right, so that's the basic concept there. The edge of this pan here. So when it slow cooks, it's going to just suck up some of that sauce from underneath. We're going to cook it at a fairly low temperature. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at this stage right here, mainly just for the sake of allowing you to see how it goes together. Now, once you have it in the pan like this, and like I said, you can do multiple layers if you're feeding a larger group. Right now, I'm just feeding me and Isaiah. This is going to be our breakfast before our staff meeting this morning. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and finish seasoning it. So a little bit of fresh garlic, the rest of what I chopped up here. This was about 6 cloves, about 3 cloves on top, 3 cloves on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and just coat it with a liberal amount of extra virgin olive oil. You can certainly use avocado oil for this. If you want to use canola oil, you can, but I don't think the flavor is very clean. Just a nice coating like this. This is going to allow it to get a nice browned top. We're going to use a little bit of fresh parsley as well. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and salt it again, just a little bit at the top. This is going to help the moisture come out of the vegetables, and the liquid inside the vegetables is going to add it and kind of blend into the piperade sauce at the bottom. And then last step here is just a little bit more of that paprika with the dried thyme and black pepper. I'm going to do it all the way over the top, just a light sprinkle, enough to coat each one of the vegetables so you get that nice coloration to it. So the next step is an important one. If you miss it, it probably won't ruin the dish, but this is going to help kind of keep all the coloration even. You're going to take a piece of parchment paper. I've included some in your box. this week. If you're wondering why I put a liner in your box, hopefully you didn't throw it away. But that's something you want to use. So just cut it or fold it to fit nicely into the pan. I just like to press it down here. Now, if you have convection in your oven, you'll want to turn that off, because otherwise it's going to blow this away. But this is just going to go into the oven like this. It's going to go in for about an hour and 30 minutes, and at 275 degrees, so pretty low temperature. And we're going to bake this for about an hour and 15 minutes. And then we're going to pause, we're going to take the paper off, and then finish it for another 10 minutes. So thanks for joining me. We will be live to answer questions at 5 o'clock tonight, from 5 to 6 o'clock if you want to try these recipes out. When we come back, we're going to do a simple white bean cassoulet, or a stovetop cassoulet. And thanks again.
All right, go.
Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half, and our ratatouille is ready to come out of the oven. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how it turned out. All right, here we go. So you can see about 20 minutes ago I pulled off the parchment paper, let it continue to bake for about 10 minutes at the same temperature. Just kind of dries out the surface, allows it to caramelize a little bit. I think it looks fantastic. And then the cassoulet beans, they just kind of baked with it. I've turned them several times in the oven, and boy, these taste great. I mean, the butter is all soaked up into the beans with the drippings from the sausage. These are going to pair together really nicely on the plate. I hope you guys enjoy. Here's the eating more veg.